Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in, and today's demo is going to be about the bean. All right, and you heard right, it's the bean. And the tools that we're going to be using today are our Sharpie felt tip pens. Uh, I have the Mono Twin, which is very similar to the big Sharpie Fine Point. It's got two nibs on it. I've got my trusty Sharpie Ultrafine, and I also have the ultrafine pen by Staedtler Mars. Okay, so I think to kind of make things a little simpler here and more clear, I'm going to start off with the big Sharpie pen. So I'm going to pull these two pens over here to the side. I'm going to uncork the broad nib or the fine tip, and we're going to draw the bean. All right, and I'll just go ahead and just write that word down, so we know what it is we're doing. I didn't mispronounce anything, but here it is, okay? And the whole idea about the bean is that we're going to take advantage of that general shape. And when you look at a bean, it kind of has this sort of shape where it's convex on the outside and it's concave on the inside, okay? And what we do is we take advantage of those characteristics of the shape to basically show animation, show action. So if you took the bean and you drew it vertically, okay, this time it could be possibly facing to the left, or it could be facing to the right. It kind of reminds you of the torso of the human body. So if I went ahead and drew it and inverted it, let's go ahead and invert it. Okay, can you see it? Can you kind of see what's going on here? I'm drawing the center line as sort of the axes, and when you start to do that, it starts to kind of take on that visualization of somebody sticking their belly out or arching their back. So let's go ahead and maybe break that down into simpler forms. If you took two spheres, okay, and you just connected them with a web, you kind of get that same kind of effect. Now you can also do the same thing with two different size spheres, and you get an idea of maybe a bottom heavy form, okay? And you can do the same thing here, where I'm just going to move over here to the other side of the page and invert that. You see? So now you've got a large upper section of the torso. Okay. Why are we doing this? Well, it's really a great way to show expressive form when we're sketching figures or things in motion. So if we go ahead and just kind of create another bean here by just two circles, and we go ahead and web them together. Okay. And what happens if we cap it with a head? Okay. And we go ahead and follow through with a set of arms. And maybe a set of legs. And give it a tail. Do you see it? Do you see something coming up? You've got a figure. Okay, so let's go ahead and maybe slow that down a little bit and take a look at it in a different way. So again, we'll take the bean. Now we've inverted it, okay? And we always draw a center line to kind of give it a sense of perspective, okay? So now, let's take that same leg right? And we take that arm and then he's sitting up, okay? So essentially what we're going to do on this next project is we're going to take the bean and we're going to have a little fun with it. And we're going to develop characters using some very basic poses. but we repeat the shape for the arms and the legs. Okay. See, now he's crawling on the floor. All right. Now, we've done a little bit of work on the head, and we've kind of focused. We've done a little bit of work on the body. We focused really didn't spend a lot of time on the limbs. But let's break this down a little bit more, and let's work on the limbs. Okay. Now, when I say limbs, I'm talking about the arms. Okay. And very much like when we were doing figure drawing, you'll notice that the top of the limbs have a very decidedly straight, more structural characteristic in its line work. But then when we talk about the back of the arms and the back of the hands, look how soft they are. See, they're much more rounded. And the same goes with the hind legs or the legs down below. We'll start off with the thigh. Again, much sharper, much crisper line characteristics. And as we come around the back, it has a decidedly more softer appearance. And then we draw in the paws. Okay. Now, when it comes to drawing the head, it's going to be very much like what we were doing previously with the human head. But this time, what we're going to do is we're going to maybe go for more of a elongated kind of a bow shape. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing. We're going to give it some sense of direction by creating an axis line. Okay, you can start to get a feeling of this being drawn in perspective. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and give it a face. So I think one of the most strongest characteristics of animals or characters is their muzzle. And you see what I've done here is a little sleight of hand, but I've gone ahead and flattened the bottom. And when you flatten the bottom, you automatically give the face a bit of a foundation, so you know where it's going to pop on top of the body. So by giving that a little flatter bottom and maintaining a round head, and we'll park the eyes just a little bit above the line of the nose. Okay, and this leaves you plenty of room for expression, and it'll give you plenty of room to decide what kind of ears which define the character. Okay. Let's do that again. So we'll start off with an elongated ellipsoid shape. Okay. And then we try to find a center line. Again, I'm going to put the center line maybe a little closer to where we're standing. And then we'll elongate the center line and establish the nose. And watch what I do with the muzzle. Look right here. I drag that line straight down. That gives me a nice flat base. And I'll kind of go ahead and keep the head round. I give a little smile. Drop the eyes just a little bit above the nose. And then I'll spot the ears. Okay. So what's our project? Our project is going to be creating some characters for a toy company. And what I'd like you to do is I want you to use the same bean technique and develop a set of two animals. In a way, think of it as companions, okay? And they'll always be sold together. They'll never be sold alone. So what you'll find, for example, if I do the second sketch, and we start with the bean, right? And we'll have another bean right next to it. So they're always going to be together, right? So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we have some proportions worked out. Remember we talked about the bow, right? We kind of give it a nice little elongated head. We go ahead and create the nose. We give it a nice smile. We park the eyes down low. And then we fit in the ears. Now, if you look what I did here a little differently than before, I kind of turned the head towards his buddy, all right? And what that did was it automatically created an association between the two, okay? And that's kind of a little trick that we do as designers when we're drawing figures or designing characters is you want to try to keep some sort of association between the two, having some sort of relationship. I think that helps create continuity and cohesiveness between these two characters. Okay. And then when you're done, come back into the drawing and define the paws. You might want to make this a little more obscure as it's moving back towards a vanishing point. Again, remember some of the good practices of drawing perspective. Okay. And there we have it. Okay. Now look at the quality of drawing. Remember the draw through, right? I've been kind of harping on the draw through, and this is no different. I want this character of line. Okay. I want this character of drawing. I want you to create a sense of scale. Okay. Proportion, right? And alignment. You want things to be aligned, and you want things to look like they're visually balanced on the page. So for your homework, for our next get-together, I'd like you to go ahead and develop 3 sets of characters, okay? And they can be based on any theme that you choose. I mean, if you're lost for themes, the Easter theme is always a good one, all right? So anyway, give it a go, and we'll see some examples posted on Dropbox. Take care.